Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our Bible Adventure channel. Long ago, in the beautiful hills of Israel, lived a man named Elijah. He was a brave and faithful servant of God, and everyone knew him for his courage and his deep love for the Lord. Elijah always listened to God, and because of his faithfulness, something truly amazing was about to happen to him. One morning, the Lord told Elijah it was time for him to come to heaven. Elijah and his devoted student, Elisha, started a journey together from a place called Gilgal. As they walked along a dusty path, Elijah turned to Elisha and said, "Stay here, please. The Lord has sent me to Bethel." But Elisha was determined not to leave his master's side. He replied, "As surely as the Lord lives and as you live, I will not leave you." So, they continued their journey to Bethel together. When they arrived, a group of prophets came up to Elisha and whispered, "Do you know that the Lord is going to take your master from you today?" Elisha knew what was about to happen, but he wanted to focus on his final moments with Elijah. He quietly answered them, "Yes, I know, but please, be quiet about it." From Bethel, their journey wasn't over. Elijah tested Elisha's loyalty again, saying, "Stay here, Elisha, the Lord has sent me to Jericho." Once more, Elisha's response was firm and unwavering. He said, "As surely as the Lord lives and as you live, I will not leave you." So, they walked on to Jericho. There, another group of prophets asked Elisha the very same question, and he gave them the same quiet, knowing answer. He would not be distracted. Finally, they reached the edge of the wide, flowing Jordan River. For the third time, Elijah said, "Stay here, the Lord has sent me to the Jordan." But Elisha's loyalty was unbreakable. He was staying with his master until the very end. Standing by the river, Elijah did something incredible. He took off his cloak, rolled it up tightly, and struck the surface of the water. Instantly, the river parted. The water piled up on the right and on the left, creating a path of dry ground right through the middle. Elijah and Elisha walked across together, completely amazed by God's power. This was a miracle, a sign that God was with them. Once they were safely on the other side, Elijah looked at his faithful student and asked, "Tell me, what can I do for you before I am taken from you?" Elisha knew this was his one chance to ask for something truly important. He replied with great passion, "Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit." He didn't ask for money or fame. He asked to carry on Elijah's work with even greater spiritual power. Elijah smiled and said, "You have asked a difficult thing, but if you see me when I am taken from you, it will be yours." As they continued walking and talking, the sky suddenly changed. A brilliant, golden light broke through the clouds. Out of nowhere, a magnificent chariot of fire, pulled by horses of fire, descended from the heavens and came between them. A powerful whirlwind surrounded Elijah, and right before Elisha's eyes, he was lifted up and carried into heaven. Elisha watched in total awe, shouting, "My father! My father! The chariots and horsemen of Israel!" He knew he had just witnessed God's glorious power firsthand. As Elijah ascended, he waved one last time, and his cloak gently fell from the sky, landing near Elisha on the ground. Elisha, filled with a mix of sadness and wonder, picked up the cloak that had belonged to his master. He walked back to the bank of the Jordan River, thinking about the promise Elijah had made. He struck the water with the cloak, just as Elijah had done, and cried out, "Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" And just like before, the water parted. The prophets who were watching from a distance saw this miracle and said to each other, "The spirit of Elijah now rests on Elisha." Elisha had seen his master ascend, and the double portion of his spirit was now his. His work began immediately. He went to a nearby city where the people were struggling. They told him, "The water here is bad, and the land is unproductive." Elisha, now filled with God's power, went to the city's spring. He threw some salt into the water and declared, "This is what the Lord says, I have healed this water. Never again will it cause death or make the land unproductive." And from that day on, the water was pure and clean. The incredible story of Elijah teaches us that God rewards those who are faithful to him. Elijah's life was full of obedience and trust, and God honored him in a spectacular way. And through Elisha, we see that God's power continues to work through those who are willing to follow him. Remember, God is always with you, just as he was with Elijah and Elisha. Be faithful, trust in him, and you'll see amazing things happen in your life too. Thanks for joining our Bible adventure today. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. See you next time.